at last time. This would be in chapter 13 of the lesson book. And I think we were ready to left off at question 14. Says, who was reigning in Judah and Israel when civil war broke out again? In chapter 13, verse 12. Uzziah is the king over Judah. Who was the king of Israel at that time? I think it was Joash or Jehoash, whichever his name was, over Israel. What prophecy Elisha make on his deathbed? Going to defeat the Arameans, and Joash, of course, the king, came to visit Elisha on his deathbed, and he shoot an arrow and put his hands on it, showed that he was going to shot an arrow out the window. They were going to defeat the Arameans, and then he had him to hit and he only hit the arrows 3 times, so they were only defeated. If you would, overcome them, but he didn't have enough obedience to just keep going, hitting the arrows on the ground. So it occurred as a result of the lot. Raiders that Moab into the land, and the men were buried. The closest tomb was a light body in bones and came to life. So it showed God is still there, even though Elisha isn't there anymore. In his death with Jesus Christ. Let's see. It says, why was Israel able to overcome the Syrian oppression or the Aramean oppression? Because of his love for their fathers and the promises he made to them. Not for that particular generation, but God saw their oppression and he took mercy on them for their fathers' sakes. Then in the next chapter, we got through the first part of those questions. We switch back to the southern kingdom of Judah, and it says, what violation of the law of Moses did even the righteous kings of Judah not correct? Something that's mentioned several times in the book. Didn't remove the high places throughout the land and just worship at the one altar that God had said. They should worship where he put his name, and where the altar of the tabernacle or the temple, that was where they were to worship. They didn't fix that. When Amaziah became king, what was the first thing that he did? He killed those that assassinated his father, but he didn't kill the children of the men that killed his father. He followed the law of Moses. He didn't hold their whole family accountable, just those that actually were the conspirators and murderers. What provoked Amaziah to make war with Israel? Anybody got a thought? I don't know that we have it's not directly in the text. He did hire mercenaries from Israel and to go a fight against Edom. And then he, at the word of the prophet said he should not go with these men, even though he'd already paid them. And so he dismissed them to go home, and they raided the land on the way back. It could have made him angry at Israel if these soldiers had done that. But it was more just out of arrogance, I think, that he thought too much of himself, and he thought he could defeat Israel as well as he did the Edomites, and didn't go well for him. It says, what was the outcome of the war? Joash captured the king and tore down the wall and took away all the treasury, and hostages were taken back to Israel. And it was a terrible loss that took place, all because of Amaziah acting without any authority from God, declared war on Israel and started a fight. How did Amaziah die? Sort of where we're at right now. I guess we'll just read it. It says, and Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, lived 15 years after the death of Jehoash, son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel. Now the rest of the acts of Amaziah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the king of Judah? So he dies, but doesn't give the details there of his death after that defeat by Israel and losing all his treasure and all of that setback. He reigned another 15 years. And we're told in the book of Chronicles, in Second Chronicles 25:27, says, and from that time Amaziah turned away from following the Lord. They conspired against him in Jerusalem, and he fled to Lachish, but they sent after him to Lachish and killed him there. So there's a conspiracy because he had began to worship these gods of the Edomites, became unfaithful to Jehovah, and then he lost the battle to Israel. People didn't forget that. There was a conspiracy and an effort to get rid of him, and after 15 years, they were able to make their move. Looked like from Jerusalem down to Lachish is where he was killed, the second most populous city in Judah. Maybe on his way to Egypt or somewhere to get away from these conspirators, but they caught up with him there in Lachish and killed him. And then going back to Kings, it says, and they conspired against him in Jerusalem, and he fled to Lachish, and they sent after him to Lachish and killed him there. And then they brought him on horses, and he was buried at Jerusalem with his fathers in the city of David. So he started off so promising in the beginning. He was faithful and doing things right, except he didn't remove the high places. God helped him in the battle against Edom and recaptured that territory and won a great victory, but then that went to his head. He also departed from the Lord and started worshiping the gods of the people that he conquered, took them back home with him. And as a result, he ended up being assassinated there, and his reign came to an end. It says, and all the people of Judah took Azariah, who was 16 years old, and made him king in the place of his father Amaziah. And he's also called Uzziah. So Azariah, it's according to who you read. Some people think Azariah was his birth name, and Uzziah was like his royal name that he adopted later on. Azariah talks about, I think, that he's one who is helped by the Lord. And then Uzziah, if I remember right, has something to do with that he's strong or mighty in the Lord or whatever. So, and he does become a mighty king. And so he's known by both of those names. It's like many characters in the Bible. And many of these kings, they have a couple of different ways, or a couple of different names sometime that they're called by. And all the people of Judah had taken him and made him king. So the people get directly involved after that conspiracy that murders his father, then they put him on the throne. There may be something in the age that he was only 16 years old, and it was about 15 years after the defeat by Israel and that humiliation that happened. Maybe they're waiting on him to get old enough to take over, and then they kill his father and put him on the throne. And he built Elath and restored it to Judah after the king slept with his father. So Elath is down here at the Gulf of Aqaba, and is a famous, port city. You go down the Gulf of Aqaba to the Red Sea, and then out into the Indian Ocean. And Solomon had a great fleet that was there, and part of what made him so wealthy was he was trading with East Africa and Southern Arabia and maybe even India, and so many goods came through there. So, as we mentioned, during this period of time, the Assyrians had defeated the Arameans and weakened them. And now Judah begins to grow and Israel grows back, and they regain all of the territory that used to belong to Solomon between the two kingdoms. So it's sort of their heyday here. And in Judah, it all starts under Uzziah and his reign. So all the way down there, he's conquered that whole area. So this heyday period of Israel and Judah is from 1423 to 1507 is where you read about this. And then there's going to be, following that, the Assyrians begin to invade the land. So all of that's going to come to an end when that happens. But there's a period of time here where they are rich and prosperous and powerful. And as I say, this is when the book of Jonah was written, and the book of Amos, and the book of Hosea. When the people become wealthy and they start exploiting the poor and just have outward religion without heart in it, and are worshiping false gods in Israel. So about 800, the Assyrians withdraw to their own territory, where they remain politically dormant until 745. So during that period of time, they're 55 years. They're riding high down here in these countries, and it makes it possible for them to regain their power and wealth. But along with prosperity, how many times do people forget God when everything's going well and you're making lots in your business and you got all kinds of leisure time, that God is forgotten? And that's what happens to these two nations. Let's say that's when Jonah goes and preaches to the people of Nineveh during that period of time. So now we're going to look at the reign of Jeroboam II that lasts 41 years. He's the greatest of the northern kings of Israel, and regains all of that territory up where the Arameans. He takes over that whole area in the north. And then in the south, Uzziah, or Azariah, reigns for 52 years. And during that time, you have the divided monarchy in this heyday period that takes place from 790 to about 750. So Jeroboam II of Israel in 1423 to 27. It says, in the 15th year of Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, became king in Samaria and reigned 41 years. And like the character of all of the kings of the northern kingdom, he's evil, because he doesn't get rid of this worship at the golden calves and so on. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord, and he did not depart from all of the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, which he had made Israel sin. And it's something, even though they have all this great power and so on, they don't, Jeroboam gets no praise